The report says that the deceleration in the world economy due to a plethora of factors, from conflict to the climate crisis, coupled with high inflation, tightening monetary policy and rising debt servicing costs, marks one of the lowest growth rates in recent decades.
The near-term economic outlook is very sobering. Projected global growth in 2023 is the lowest we have seen in the last decade, down to just 1.9%. At the same time, the central banks across the world have raised interest rates aggressively to tame the decade's high inflation. These interest rate hikes and the rapid tightening of the global financial conditions have weakened the currencies and increased the debt vulnerabilities of many developing countries.
Pointing to the current global economic slowdown in both developed and developing countries, with many facing risks of recession in 2023.
Unprecedented interest rate increases in developed regions have compounded the inflation, debt, and balance of payment challenges in many developing countries. Second, the importance of balancing short-term unidimensional perspectives against longer-term ones. As countries face pressures to shrink public spending in the short term, they do run the risk of kneecapping themselves by underinvesting in human capital, green energy, and the digital transformation, or even climate resilience, which undermines their own growth and debt sustainability prospects in the longer term.
In Africa, aggregate economic growth is expected to weaken from 4.1% in 2022 to 3.8% this year, due to subdued investment and deteriorating export volumes. South Africa is projected to grow just 1.5% in 2023 as adverse weather and power cuts drag down economic activity, while high unemployment and rising inflation deter household spending. Nigeria will grow at 3% in 2023, while Egypt's growth is expected to slow to 5.1%. The continent remains a full 2.4 percentage points below its pre-pandemic projected real output, which contrasts with developed economies, which have more than recuperated from their 2020 real output losses.
Back in 2019, even before COVID, even before the war in Ukraine, we had just started to lose momentum on poverty eradication. And our assessments in 2019 showed we would actually miss the poverty eradication target. I think we were going to be about 4% away from the goal. So that was assuming this growth prospects that you quoted a little while ago, even those would have been insufficient. So now this further shortfall for Africa means we are that much further back from even reaching the poverty target.
The report also warns that the world is at a critical juncture as it approaches the midpoint of the Sustainable Development Goals. The world is off track to meet the 17 SDGs, including ending poverty, hunger, and achieving gender equality, among others. Coupled with new shocks, factors the report says are already testing the limits of the existing multilateral frameworks, arguing that international cooperation has never been more important in order to face a multitude of global crises and bring the world back on track to achieve its critical blueprint developmental agenda by the 2030 deadline. Shervin Riceby's SABC News, New York.